Hello everybody, how's it going? It's your boy CJ. Today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to shade and to illustrate, or some people like to put it vectorizing or vexel, whichever you want to choose. It doesn't really differentiate the work too much, so we're going to get straight into it. I use Illustrator, Adobe Illustrator to do my drawings. I don't use Photoshop. A lot of people do tell me that Photoshop is more easier because the tools are slightly more advanced and slightly have more freedom to sort of create a piece, but I like to use Illustrator because of the infinitive scaling. I typically design my work in 1500 to 1500 pixels. We're going to start by tracing. The reason why I want to trace it is just to make everything a bit more smooth and quicker. Drawing everything out and doing a speed out on it is going to take a bit longer. So we're going to trace and I'm going to show you how I shade. Alright guys, so today we're going to start by grabbing a blank canvas, 1500 by 1500. I think I have it set to. That's just my sweet point for making illustrations. Then we're going to grab our reference. Here I have a reference of a graph Instagram. Going to set our opacity to around 55%. This is usually like my sweet spot for drawing up images. Usually for my line work, I like to do like a square brush with angle for 90 degrees, size 3, pressure on, variation to 3. Here's a little tip, by the way. If you create a new layer, lower the opacity of your brush and just start sketching around the shadows. This really just helps you look at where the dark areas are of the subject. I think it helps, even though you're tracing, it does really help you just get a clear insight and a clear visual of your reference rather than just tracing. Help you understand how shadows actually work on the human face. Now time for the coloring. I want everybody to take their time with this one. Look at your reference clearly, find this color. I don't use swatches, I just use my eyes mainly, but you are allowed to use swatches also. But just find your color, look at the subject, see what color the subject is, and then once you pin it down on Illustrator, just see how realistic it really is. Don't try to follow the reference too much because we're using Illustrator, we're quite limited to how we blend our colors. So just try to use your eye and make it as realistic as can be. So now I get an in drop on my main color, which is my skin. Then I just go slightly down on my skin layer in the color palettes to get the darkness, and then I start drawing around the darkness using the shadow layer that we made previously to help find our shadows properly. Here again, I've just ink dropped the same shadow that I have, and then I just go slightly down on the color palette just to keep the colors a bit consistent and realistic. So just go a bit darker on this side of the color palette, just drag it down. It's a very good technique. I think a lot of people should get used to it, but it don't always work with particular subjects that you make. Okay, so moving on to the highlights, what we're going to do here is get our skin layer and then change that skin layer to screen, lower the opacity a little bit, just to give it a bit of highlights. You don't have to always lower the opacity, you can just keep it the base color, but remember, look at your image, see if it looks right. If it doesn't, what you can do is lower the opacity to it and go over your strokes over and over again until you got a nice looking top lip, should I say. And then just go around at the other places where you see highlights, just to give you the perspective of the face, where the light is coming from. And yeah, from here you don't really have to keep on tracing. You can just use your eyes to see where the shadows are. Keep on seeing where the highlights are. Keep on going over it as much as you want until it just becomes tailored to your liking.
Also, try your best not to overdo the shading on the face, because as you can see, the face is looking a bit too old. What you're gonna do is just remove some parts, keep it as seamless as possible, as smooth as possible. Try to lower the opacity of your shadows. The highlights you can keep, because as you can see, there's quite a bit of highlights in our face. Under the eyeshadow, I didn't really like it too tough, so I tried to redraw it again to make it as realistic. Just keep your opacities low. Keep looking at the image. Don't make her face not look too smooth. This is why I chose the girl in particular, because I want people to take their time when drawing female faces. They're not this old, as you can look at the subject, so don't make it look too old. And now with this part here, as we can see, her nose has got quite a curve. So we get a hard brush, make sure the colors matching the shadow, but you just darken it more. You can even just use the color that I got off the neck at the bottom, but you want to get a hard brush, and then you just want to go around the curvature of the nose. You could trace it if you want, but like I said, you can sometimes, it can throw you off sometimes tracing. So it's good to just use your eye, look at the image, keep looking at your reference. In the next tutorial, I'll show you how to actually pull up your reference above all your windows like I have on the left. For now, just keep looking at your image and then just follow what you see. So far it's looking good. I'm really enjoying this piece, and I hope you guys are as well. And I hope you're learning from this tutorial. Bear in mind, it's my first one as well, so yeah, feel free to comment some opinions below what you'd like to see next.